Yep, till 9 o'clock, we out of here. Oh. All right. 7 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. This is a meeting of the Southfield Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered as a community meeting. There is one opportunity for public participation during the meeting, and the comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. The board will listen to comments but may not respond during the meeting. If you wish to address the board, please submit a comment card immediately. Roll call. Ashanti Bland, Board President.
Good evening, everyone. Yvette Ware-Duval, Vice President.
Darrell B. Joyce, trustee.
Jillian Holloway, trustee.
Braylon Boyd, Student Board Rep.
Jennifer Green, Superintendent. Taking minutes this evening is Ms. Carolyn Foster. Technical support being provided by M1 Studios, and we are also joined by many members of our Executive District Network team.
For the record, I would like to let everyone know that Trustee Talisha Belk will be absent this evening. It is an excused absence. And our Trustee Johnson's flight from our conference in New Orleans has been delayed multiple times, so he will not be here this evening either. Our Board Secretary will be here shortly. May we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Vice President.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Board matters. I will start by yielding the floor to our trustees. If we want to start off with Trustee Holloway, do you have anything for board matters?
Well, considering I got back very late on a Monday, so I do have something I can share.
For sure.
Okay, one of the many sessions that I attended, this one really stood out for me, the criminalization of black schoolgirls. According to the research from the session, this is what I'm getting my information from.
And let me level set for everyone. On Thursday and Friday, many of us flew down to the National School Board Association Conference in New Orleans, where we took part in multiple sessions, pretty much starting at 8:30 and sometimes ending at 7 o'clock at night. So what we're doing now is just reporting out on what we learned and how we spent our time. So I didn't want to assume that everyone here knew that we were on that conference over the weekend. I apologize, Trustee Holloway.
No problem. Okay, back to the research. The research shows that black girls are viewed to be older than their years and more culpable than white girls. This is what research has been showing. Systematic racism has forced black children into social, emotional, and physical adult roles before they are adults, contributing to adultification. Research also has shown deep stereotypes of black girls, intellectually inferior, defiant, and loud. This can contribute to high school suspensions of these young girls, which can lead to them not returning to school, which can lead to pipelines to prison. What we could do as board members and educators, revise the policies to support girls in need to eliminate gender bias, decriminalize offenses common to girls living with trauma. We see this a lot. And hopefully, if we all did some research on the criminalization, our outlooks might be a little more tolerable for our black girls. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Joyce?
I have nothing to share at this time. I'm still trying to wake up.
Understood.
I'll share at the next.
Understood. Vice President?
Absolutely.
Again, good evening, everyone. As Board President mentioned, we did have an opportunity of sitting in on a lot of sessions and keynote speakers, and maybe she'll have the opportunity of touching on some of the keynote speakers and what they shared with us. But one of the few sessions that I had gone to was working in our district in cultural diversity with TLC. And this is one that stood out for me, other than one with disabilities, but TLC. So what does that stand for? It's tenacity, tendency of giving, keep a firm hold on something not easily dispelled. And that is something that we have to have here in Southfield, is the tenacity to know that our job is to educate our young Black children and all of those other students, or all of our students, I apologize, that are within our district. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we are tenacious and understanding what their needs are. Loyalty, giving and showing firm, consistent support. So that kind of ties into being tenacious, but we have to be loyal to our students. These are where the relationships are built. This is where they begin to trust us. This is where we look at our students and know that we have their best interest at hand, and they also know that. So being loyal to our students. And lastly, commitment, the state and quality of being dedicated to a cause activity. So as you can hear, all of these are tied together, but how we apply these little TLC tidbits, if you will, is completely up to us. However, what we do with them and how we apply them is detrimental to the education of our children. So that was one of just a couple of the classes that I attended. And again, they were all beneficial to bringing back information to our district, and look forward to continue our work with my colleagues as well as our community and students.
So good evening. I am always in awe of how much our staff knows and how deep some of this language and law goes. I attended the ABCs of special education, and some of the things that I learned were about the advocacy piece on the part of the parents. Learning the difference between FAPE, 504, IDEA, all of these acronyms we hear on a regular basis, and what the part of a board truly is. How important the teamwork inside of the school truly matters when it comes to our children with special needs. What I actually have the handout, and I'm going to send it to all board members. One thing that I also learned was how important it is when someone decides they want to become a board member, how important it is for them to understand this. And so that onboarding piece, I've truly had my eyes open to how we can better onboard board members to give them a larger scope of knowledge. And it really, I take my hat off to educators as a whole, but especially for those who deal with our special children who have special needs. One other thing that I realized was the importance of pouring into Black males and how ignored they truly are in this education system. Dr. Green and I have spoken with a speaker at the Cube, which is for urban boards. We spoke to the speaker, who was Dr. Eddie Connor. He is going to give our district a discount on books that we will be providing to our football teams, our basketball teams, our young men who we identify that have leadership skills, and then those who have faced trauma. And we're looking to develop some new programs that focus on Black males. We have some that focus on Black girls, so we want to really get some more robust programming to prepare them for their collegiate careers. The other thing that we got a chance to see, and I know Trustee Smith-Thomas will go a little further on this, we got a chance to listen to Ruby Bridges. For those of you who don't know who Ruby Bridges is, she is the first child to integrate a school. and she was dynamic, she was honest, she was candid, and she was genuine. They did not record her session, but if any of you have not heard her story, it is truly an amazing one. And the fact that she's still here advocating, and she is a parent liaison at the school that she integrated oh so many years ago in 1960, I just find it amazing. The other thing that we were able to do, myself, Trustee Joyce, and Trustee Weirdaval, we heard from Ted Shriver, who spoke about special need communities and some of the things that he's doing to ensure that we're leading with integrity. So it was a great conference. I won't lie to y'all, the food was amazing. I think that's a takeaway we all got. And we connected with a lot of other school boards across the nation that want to actually partner with us, which was a shock to me. They had actually watched our YouTube board meetings, so you never know who's watching you. So it was a great experience. I see that our board secretary is, for the record, she arrived at 7:10 p.m. and board secretary, I will yield to you.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. So I think I heard you talking about the conference, which I'm trying to get caught up from not only the conference, but also Ron Clark yesterday. Yeah, so yeah, still trying to catch my breath, honestly, because just truly full. As I've often shared, I'm also an educator in another district, and so I'm always excited about when I can get to events, conferences, learning opportunities, and just learn more about how we're implementing best practices, how we can improve our practices, how we can improve our policies. And that's truly what the experience always is for me when I do attend and take advantage of the different opportunities, such as the conferences and the events such as last night. One of my main focuses for attending the conference was really getting more insight about how other districts are managing their special education services, their parent advocacy, and also their early childhood education, which are both areas of passion for me. So I was able to learn a lot. I will, and also student voice. I have actually not prepared tonight, but I do have a policy recommendation I'll be bringing forward regarding student voice. What I'll share is one of the sessions I attended was actually led by the student board rep about the student summit, yeah. And this particular district every year holds a student summit where pretty much it's a board meeting at one of the schools, one of the high schools, and it's really geared towards the students taking a leadership, ownership space to really be the priority focus for the decisions being made. It's a one-time event that happens every year. They really put a lot of focus and structure in it. And so I was really in awe to hear this young lady speaking. She led the entire presentation. Even some of the educators in the room, elected officials, tried to take over, and she was standing up for herself. I said, "You go ahead, girl. Don't let them take over your presentation." And I think that was just a testament to the type of training that she's been able to get. So I am going to bring forward some more of that information and share that, as that is one that I feel is something that's a quick point that we can look at with our policies. And as far as yesterday, I'll say I was so excited to see so many of our educators in the room. I will say that this district, actually, our educators really introduced me to the Ron Clark Academy, and all of the different programs and the houses, the philosophies. And I just think that just taking the initiative and a lot of the conversations that came up as I was talking with people were, oh, Southfield, oh yeah, they're already doing this and they're already doing that and they're, yes, I see. And just to know that when they did the shout out and called out the names and the schools and who was represented, that Southfield was strong. And so just to know that we're already thinking in that way, whereas some districts were in the room for the very first time. We were filling the space. So I was really excited about that. Again, still very full from all of those experiences. And so, as you all know, I like to flesh things out, see where we can make our improvements. Obviously, many things can't happen overnight, but it's always, I haven't been here for 10 years, for nothing. I've been here for 10 years, and I know that it does take time. But I will say that every year that I've been here, I've been able to take a little bit of something that I've experienced, or that's been experienced, and as a board, as a team, when we've been able to look at how we can implement and improve structures, policies, and so that's certainly the plan this time around as well. Thank you.
So a couple of things. Ignite the Classroom was something that Dr. Green got roughly 30 of our educators tickets for last night. Last year, I watched as almost 15 of our teachers receive full scholarships, flight, hotel, and a 2 or 3 day experience at the Ron Clark Academy to learn his education model. This year, Trustee Smith-Thomas and I attended with some educators, and they gave everybody in that room a full scholarship. We are watching what it has done at Levy Middle School. I believe that if Sonia Jackson could talk about it at this moment, she would say she has seen more rigor in her students. She has seen them invigorated. They host the Amazing Shake, and her numbers in enrollment have gone up. And I think it's a testament to what they have incorporated into their curriculum and their culture at that school. So this year, in July, everybody that was there will be flying down again to bring home some more knowledge and hopefully to see other schools in our district implement these things as well. One thing I want to touch on, our study session was April 2nd, and the topic of our study session was staffing in this district. I know it's been a concern of parents, community, and staff alike. What came out of that were a few things. And anybody please interject if I forget anything. The first thing is we need to have a more holistic approach to how we communicate when we're making changes in a building. And we need to include not only building leaders, but we need to include the staff. So that was one thing that we discussed. One of my asks from that meeting was that the projections that we get for the new school year be compared year to year, so we can see how accurate that data truly is, so we're ensuring that we're staffing correctly. And then, of course, just making sure that we have the right people in the right seat. I've said it multiple times, it's not enough just to have a body in the seat. You have to have the right person that really wants to pour into our kids and our scholars and wants to forge relationships with the parents, with other staff members to produce a positive and an environment that is conducive to really learning on all facets, from SEL to ELA and every other acronym that exists in education. We need the right people. So thank you to Dr. Freeman and Summer Caldwell Carruthers and James Jackson and Dr. Green for spending the time to put that information together for us so that we understand how the district is staffing and ensuring that all of our children have the proper education that they deserve. I will ask if any other board members have anything before I go to the report of our student board representative. Hearing none. I would like to say that our student board rep from University High School Academy, yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking if we said Happy Month of the Young Child.
We haven't done any of that yet,
Okay,
or we didn't talk about Autism Week either.
okay.
Okay.
Well, Happy Month of the Young Child.
And
also,
and we have on our purple.
yes.
And Dr. Green has on her blue, to raise awareness that it is Month of the Young Child, and autism awareness, and I know multiple schools wore blue, and we have those pictures on our website and on our social media pages. Our student board rep from UHSA is not present, and I like to give him his kudos because he reached out to ask, do I come here or do I go to midnight golf? And I said, go to midnight golf. And so he is absent this evening, but we do have our, Miss Paula Lightsey is going to read the report from UHSA.
So I do have the report. Good evening, Southfield Board and Superintendent and community. Good evening for the month of April. Here are the past, current, and future important events and occurrences at University Middle and High School Academy. The USHA Student Grammys were rescheduled due to some technical issues that have been addressed. The new date for the Grammys is Friday, April the 19th, 2024. This event will highlight the great performances created by the high school students as well as an award show for the seniors in different categories. The UHSA class of 2024 made history on Friday, April the 5th. Principal Bogans worked diligently with Mr. Curry, to ensure that the senior class would have the school's first senior pinning ceremony to start a wonderful tradition. The ceremony was very special for the seniors and their parents, giving each the opportunity to thank the other for their hard work and dedication. The senior pin designed by Skylar Little. Digital exams began the week of April the 8th, which was Monday. From grades 6 to 11, testing will take place on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The testing will continue into next week for 6th and 8th through 8th grades with M-STEP testing. All testing days are regular school days except for Thursday, April the 11th, in which the seniors will have a day off. The U welcomes Mrs. Danielle Dockery. Ms. Dockery is a college advisor serving the U on behalf of the University of Michigan. The U would like to say good luck to juniors Dalen Mitchell and Tenalola Olarasola, who will be traveling to Chicago to compete in the Urban Debate National Tournament. The U would also like to say congratulations to Tanner Harrington, who qualified for the Michigan Ultra State Swimming Championship. During this event, he broke a few of his own personal records, along with winning the breaststroke B final with the 8th fastest time in the state. That's great. For some exciting news coming out of the Fine Arts Department, senior Jasmine Wright Jr., Sophie Martin, and 8th grader Sylvia Laszlo were chosen to represent UMHSA in the Oakland Schools Fine Arts Advisory Council 2023 to 2024 District Points of Pride exhibit at Oakland schools for the month of April. Congratulations to them. Students of the Month, congratulations to the UMSA Girls Cheer Team for their recent victories. The middle school cheer team won first place at the Game Time Athletic Middle School Cheer Competition, as well as first place at the Southfield Public Schools Middle School Competition. Congratulations also to the UHSA Yearbook Team. The yearbook team is being recognized for creating a Netflix theme 2024 yearbook that will be headed to publication prior to the deadline. The yearbook created is dedicated to the class of 2024 as well as the rising UMSA 8th graders. Moving forward, the school-wide activities that are occurring at the U are positive and productive for student achievement and enjoyment. Thank you all for listening and have a great week. Thank you on behalf.
Now we will hear from Braylon Boyd from Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I can't believe how my term of serving on this wonderful board is coming to an end soon. I would like to be honest with you guys before I begin. Not much has happened besides our wonderful academics within the past month. I will mainly be focusing on upcoming events in no particular order, as our school year will be coming to an end soon. During our last meeting, I mentioned how we had a career fair hosted at Southfield A&T on March 30th. We also welcomed the university to our building as well, and scholars were able to meet with individuals in the field they wish to pursue. Scholars were also happy with leaving the career fair with more knowledge and more connections in the field they wish to pursue. During the week of March 18th, Ms. Butler started taking pictures for our yearbook. This year, I promise we didn't copy each other, but we also had a Netflix theme that we found on TikTok. I promise you guys it will be amazing, and hopefully I could bring a slideshow to the next meeting with pictures of what our school has the ability to produce. Seniors also have prom coming up. The senior board has been working so hard to ensure this is a wonderful event and something that our school will remember for years to come. We have started ordering supplies and decorations for prom, and I've personally invited our junior board, who will be replacing us next year, to build our decorations for us. As we all know, most of our board members will be getting ready for prom at 4 a.m. This week, our school is testing. Our juniors are taking the SAT, while our 9th and 10th graders are taking the PSAT here at Southfield A&T. We wish them the best of luck. This month, we have our third and final blood drive of the school year. I will also personally be donating blood this time around, but I'm very scared of needles. Members of the Student Council are all encouraged to be donors so we can surpass our last donor amount of 35. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful night and week with this beautiful weather we are having in Michigan.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Braylon. Trustees, are there any questions for Braylon this evening? Hearing none. Braylon, you know the drill. If you need to get home to study or whatever it is that you're doing, since you have less than 40 days left of school, I believe, you're welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay.
I will stay right here.
Perfect. I do want to lift one more thing for our community, and Ms. Cash sent it out. There's a lot of construction going on in Southfield right now. The first one starting April 15th, 9 Mile will be closed at Evergreen. So for those of you who take that street to the remote our Airbnb, Eisenhower, or if you get to Southfield A&T, please find an alternate route. It's going to be horrible, but I wanted to make sure that our community knows. Also, April 13th, 12 Mile is closing from Evergreen to Southfield, right at the Lathrop campus. I am asking for our administration to get a little bit more information because I don't know how long that closure is going to be. But I do know that the 9 Mile between at Evergreen is gonna be an ongoing process. So it will affect us throughout the summer, and it's just gonna keep moving down. So it's gonna hit Lasser, and then it's gonna make its way all the way to Telegraph. As a part of that, Ferndale, Royal Oak pedestrian bike way, wonderful walkable urban district thing that they're starting. But we will get confirmation on the timeline for 12-mile closure, because I know that's gonna impact so many families. That traffic is already horrible going into the school. So we will get you information on that, but I wanted to make sure to lift it, considering we are approaching those dates. And now I'll hand it over to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you so much, Board President. I will ask Ms. Foster to cue our first video where we identify and acknowledge our April Partner of the Month.
Hi, my name is Summer Caldwell Carruthers, and I'm the Executive Director of Instruction for Southfield Public Schools. And I'm so happy that we're honoring our Partner of the Month, Mr. Jesse Baker. He's our custodian here at JWE, and he takes wonderful care of us here. First of all, he welcomes us with a smile every day. He does not hesitate to help us in any way, and I'm just so thankful that we have him here at JWE. I'm so happy that we brought back the Partner and the Employee of the Month. It's so important to make sure that our partners and our employees know that we appreciate them. We appreciate everything that they do for us every day. So congratulations, Mr. Baker. You deserve this, Mr. Partner of the Month. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Jesse. Congratulations. You are our partner.
I appreciate you. You treat
We appreciate you. All the things are yours.
Hi, my name is Jesse Baker, and I work for GDI, and I'm here at JWE, and I'd like to thank them for recognizing me, and I enjoy my job. I love it here. I love the people here, and I'd like to say thanks again.
Good afternoon. Please join us in recognizing Mr. Jesse Baker.
Did he leave?
Here we go.
He probably working, I just saw him.
He's so bashful. He stepped out that fast. Mr. Baker.
That is, I saw him earlier.
He was here. He's everywhere at JWE. Okay, so we'll come back to Mr. Baker in just a moment. Next, our Employee of the Month.
Good afternoon. I'm Lanisa Freeman. I'm the Deputy Superintendent here in Southfield Public Schools, and I am honored to have been one of the nomination partners for Mr. Ed Hill. Principal Hill is a leader amongst leaders. I can't say enough about him. I've often wondered why he doesn't become a consultant for the district, because he really has demonstrated exemplary leadership throughout the years. His partnership, his knowledge of his staff, as well as his students and parents, has just been tremendous. He goes above and beyond, comes early and stays late. So I don't think I've ever driven by that building and not seen his car right there in front. When you go into his building, you typically won't find him in the office because he's always amongst his students. So Principal Hill, congratulations. You are doing a tremendous job for this district, and your impact, it really makes a difference. So thank you and congratulations.
We didn't want to take you away from all your duties, but we did want to come and congratulate you as the Employee of the Month.
Thank you. I don't know
You
who nominated me.
You were nominated by Angela Smith, but you had several individuals that seconded your nomination.
Oh, well, thank
It was
y'all.
a unanimous decision.
Good morning. My name is Ed Hill, principal of Bernie K-8 School. I was nominated, surprisingly, for Employee of the Month, and I hear it was a unanimous decision. I really appreciate it. To whomever made the nomination, whoever supported it, I thank you guys, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
From track coach, classroom teacher, building leader, and all-around perfect gentleman, congratulations, Mr. Hill.
So, I don't know if everyone in this room knows, but we will be losing this gem at the end of the year. He will be retiring, and he's earned it. Mr. Hill, you have been in Southfield Public Schools track coach. Met you in Southfield Lathrop. You were my son's principal. You were my daughter's principal in early fives. And everyone who hears that you're still here, they say, track coach, Mr. Hill? Oh, that was my guy, right? I think that everybody has a very, we all have the same impression of you. You've always been laid back, but no nonsense, supportive. You care about your kids. You care about your staff. We hate to see you go, but this is well-deserved. And we thank you, we thank your wife, we thank your kids for sharing you with Southfield Public Schools for 30 years.
30-plus years. His father.
32 years,
His father
yeah.
and his siblings are here tonight, so I wanted to
Can the
acknowledge them
family
as
please
well.
stand up
Please.
for us? Thank you for sharing him with us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you guys. And actually, that day y'all came in there, I was pinned down in my office with a challenging parent. And thank y'all for rescuing me for that moment. But I went back in and I dealt with it. But I'm truly honored and is grateful for the recognition. I appreciate each and every one of you. I share this, and I wouldn't be here without the support of my wonderful family and a supportive team. You know, it's an honor. It's been 32 years, guys, and I'm calling it quits after this year. I'm on my way out to start my next chapter in my life. Ms. Hill, please stand up to my wonderful wife. Thank you for putting up with me and dealing with me, and we're about to move on to this next chapter, but to these gifts and these honors and so forth, we're going to be sharing this. So, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Ms. Smith, thank you for the nomination. I appreciate you and everybody that had anything to do with me being here tonight. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Hill, if you could step up for a photo op, please. Trustees. Oh, it's going to be real quick. Real quick.
We're gonna take this picture and we're gonna let you see your baby
Go play lacrosse.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mr. Hill.
Thank you, family. I did receive word that unfortunately Mr. Baker had a family emergency, therefore he had to leave out this evening, but we will make sure that he receives his recognition on tomorrow. I'm not sure if you heard that. Mr. Baker had to leave out family emergency. Okay, so we'll make sure he gets that tomorrow. Without further ado, I would like to invite up to the podium our athletic director, Mr. Omar Ahart, who brings us exciting news this evening.
We need the Rocky music playing.
All right. Good evening, Madam Board President, board members, our wonderful superintendent, staff, community partners, and parents. My name is Omar Ahart. I'm the district athletic director for our wonderful district, Southfield Public Schools. I have tonight the pleasure of introducing our new head coach to our championship program, Mr. Keith McKenzie. Coach McKenzie is a native of Highland Park, where his football and schooling career began, graduating from Highland Park in 1991, dating him just like us. From there, Keith went on to Ball State University as a scholarship athlete to play football. While playing at Ball State, he attained many accolades there, program record in sacks. He was senior captain on the football team, MAC Honor Awards. But in talking with Keith, his greatest accomplishment was obtaining his degree in history in 1996. Coach McKenzie went on to the NFL, being drafted in the 7th round. Keith played 8 years, winning a Super Bowl championship with the Green Bay Packers in his first year. After the pros, just like a lot of us, moved on to coaching. His coaching career of 15 plus years, coaching in Division I and Division II levels, and also doing college recruiting in various high schools in the Midwest. Keith has led several programs to collegiate championships, his alma mater, Ball State. Also, while at Wayne State, creating a solid defensive unit, but yet and still getting those young men to all academic honors in Wayne State's conference in the GLIAC. Off the field, Coach McKenzie is committed to service and enrichment of youth through his family nonprofit, the Reggie McKenzie Foundation, which I was part of the Reggie McKenzie Foundation in Highland Park. Also off the field, Coach is a family man. Coach is married to, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, Tamiko McKenzie, and father of 3 boys, Keith Jr. and his twins, Kaylin and Carson. It is my esteemed honor and pleasure and privilege to introduce to you our new leader of our championship program, Coach Keith McKenzie. I had several of our young men were supposed to come with me, but they're at our track meet today. So I have Arturo with one of our returning players. Keith.
Wow. I'm very excited about this opportunity here to come back home, really, for me. My family right now is in Indiana. At the last spot I was at Ball State. But to come back home and be able to lead a historic program like Southfield. It's unbelievable. This is a dream of mine. Always wanted to be a head football coach. And, like everyone, you always shooting for the stars. I wanted to be the head football coach at some NFL team, but that didn't work out for me. And God put me where I needed to be. And he brought me back home and put me around young men like this. I'm so happy to have this opportunity. The one thing I've told a lot of guys, I've met a few guys already, it's going to be academics first, sports second. Student athlete, The one thing I've always preached, even when I'm coaching college guys, is your academics is going to take you further than your athletic ability will. You only going to have I call it, you'll have an expiration date on your football career. Some guys will be done when high school is over. Some guys will be done with college. Some guys might be blessed and have opportunity to play in the National Football League. But when it's going to be over soon enough. I had a great career. I finished playing football at 30 years old. So, if it wasn't for my education, my degree, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. And that's one of the things I'm going to stress with these young men as I come in and take over this program. It's a successful program, a lot of great kids, great athletes, but that's only going to take you for so far, So I want to make sure that the young men that I'm in charge of, when they get the opportunity to get a college scholarship opportunity, that their academics is on par and they be able to accept that scholarship. And I want to make sure that these guys have all the fun playing football, the great experience that I had, and understand the life lessons that this game would teach you, how to work hard, how to push yourself beyond limits. And I'm going to stress this with these kids. And I can't wait to get to work. These guys, they're going to be probably mad at me when we start talking study table, because it's some work to be done. And I'm going to make sure that these guys understand that I'm not going to sacrifice my morals. If you're not eligible to play, then you won't play. How bad do you want to be a football player at Southfield? Go to class, do the work, get the grades, and if you need help, we'll make sure we find help for you. But I'm not going to waver on those morals. Those guys, we're going to improve the team GPA. I want the team GPA to be as high as it possible could be. And when I left Ball State, I coached the defensive line. And everybody knows that the defensive line are kind of knuckleheads. I've been one of them. But we had I had 12 young men, and we had an average GPA of a 3.0 in that room. And as a team, we had an average GPA of a 3.2. So we set records in the MAC, and I believe in that, and I want to do the same thing here at Southfield. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you.
Through the chair. Who's the young man with you?
And, I was going to say that as I watched Arturo and, his mother is a great friend of mine, so I know the cloth that he is cut from. But it made me proud. You stood with your head up, your back straight, and I hope this coach sees that this is the level of young man that you are getting. We are raising scholars who are going to be productive in society and the classroom, and we appreciate you being here. You're a great representation of your football team, and Coach McKenzie, we are so ready for you to do what you need to do. And so welcome to Southfield Public Schools. I know you're in the middle of the spring, and I know a lot of things get started, so hopefully you have whatever you need to be successful. And if you don't, you have a whole team behind you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Board President, I would like to acknowledge, although his wife and children are not here with him, his mother is here with him this evening, and she is also an employee of our school district, so I did want to acknowledge Mom. She is an amazing individual also. So he said, it seems as though my mother has more clout than I do. I said, she does. As long as you understand that, we will all be well. Next, I would ask Mr. James Jackson to join us at the mic to go over the graduation update. It seems like every time someone's due, they go out in the lobby. They disappear. Mr. Jackson, you're up. Graduation update. Very important. Mantrell and Braylon want to know what's happening. Countdown.
Well, good evening. Yes, the countdown has begun. We have exactly 58 days until graduation, and the planning is underway. Just so everybody knows, graduation will be Friday, June 7th. It will be at the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater, just where we had it last year. We have two ceremonies. We have two ceremonies that day. We have Southfield A&T, which will be at 10 a.m., and then we also have University High School Academy, which will be at 2 p.m. As far as parking, we are working with the amphitheater with regard to parking because there is a lot across the street, directly across the street from the amphitheater that is paid parking. It's not free parking, but it is paid parking. And we are working with the amphitheater with regard to making those arrangements. In working with the building leaders and the class sponsors, diplomas are being ordered. The graduation gowns are being ordered. And so we are moving forward and excited about what's going to happen on June 7th and honoring our district's graduates.
Through the chair.
Sure.
Mr. Jackson, has there been an idea as to what the ticket count will look like for Southfield A&T? University, usually it's not a.
Right, exactly. So for Southfield A&T, each graduate will have 8 guest tickets that they'll be able to share with their family and friends that are coming to support them.
Say it one more time.
8 tickets.
That is an increase.
That is, that's
Tickets.
what
It
I
is
was
an
getting at.
increase.
That is an increase.
It is an increase, yes. And for University High, there is not a ticket limit, mainly because it's a smaller class. So because it's a smaller class, the number of people coming to support is anticipated to be, historically has been smaller. But because A&T is the size of the graduation class dictates that we have to manage that process.
If I may add, we are also looking to secure the venue for the next several years to ensure that we have those dates available for the class of 2025 and 2026 as well. The first Friday in June appears to be a good date for us because it affords us an opportunity to take the staff down as well. So we are looking to secure that date for 2025 and 2026. Once we've inked the contract, we will make that official.
Yeah, but we've already begun that discussion with the amphitheater.
Thank you. Are we able to stream at all? Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. So we have M1 Studios, which has always come down to record the graduation so that we can replay it on our program, but we also have the ability to live stream it. There is a cost to that through the amphitheater, but we generally have done in the past just for A&T. University didn't ask for that, but we can absolutely do that, yes.
So, Board President, I just want to ask that if that's something that we decide to move forward with, that we publicize that fairly well so that families know that's available.
For sure.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jackson.
Board President, next we will have our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Freeman, to discuss the revised unification timeline, and I believe you wanted to share some pieces prior to Dr. Freeman sharing the timeline.
So let me be crystal clear. We have not chosen a candidate for the Lathrop campus. The letter that families received, I believe yesterday, was to keep you abreast and 2 steps ahead of what we're doing right now. So what we're doing is trying to basically communicate what the process is before we actually get there, so you know what's coming. We've heard many of your constructive criticisms and suggestions, and one of those was to communicate before it happens. So we're explaining the process. We're explaining the fact that stakeholders will have some buy-in on this process. We're explaining that we're asking these candidates to come with presentations because the old way of interviewing is not enough. We need to see what candidates have done on their social media. What does your newsletter look like? What do your students say about you? What do your parents say about you? So we're trying to get creative and get as much information that we can outside of just test scores on who we will have to fill that seat. So I just wanted to ensure that everyone understands we have not moved on anyone. The leadership committees have received their emails. Dates have not yet gone out, but that is to come, and I know Dr. Freeman will update the community on that, but I just wanted to ensure everyone that we haven't made any decisions on who will be the next leaders of that building. Did I hit that correctly, Dr. Freeman?
Yes, and
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Green. Good evening, community. Thank you for that overview, because I think it is critical that we get this right. And so I appreciate the permission, because that's what we did. We were asking your permission to revise the timeline. We started with a very aggressive timeline in terms of securing the right person, the right team, really. And so today we were scheduled to come before you with that candidate, but once interviews had been completed by our curriculum team and a second round had been completed by our EDN cabinet members, we realized that we needed to kind of slow this process down and at least take a pause, because the candidates that were expressing interest were so strong. It's important that we do something a little bit outside of the box. And so creating this scenario, which is going to be a performance task that really does drill down and ask them about their leadership skills, their strategic planning, their communication style. How do they create a positive learning environment, as well as how do they engage stakeholders? So we've come out with a very comprehensive plan for them to address, as well as be able to present this information in front of the community, in front of the actual parents and staff members, and actually get some feedback. So that's where we are. Our goal is to hopefully have this done, scheduled within the next few weeks, so that by the May board meeting, we will be ready to have a final candidate for recommendation. What questions might you have for me?
I don't have a question, really, just a comment. I just want to commend you, because I will say, not only in this space, but for the last few presentations that you've given, it's always been it's been very evident to me that you've been very reflective. And I can appreciate that character trait in a leader. Being able to recognize, wait, we thought this plan would work, however, let's look at how we can improve that, and doing it on the front end as opposed to being reactive, I can truly appreciate. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
I've received some calls and some questions about, in full transparency, the fairness to current building leaders, right? So you have some parents who have gotten comfortable with the people who are there, and they are advocating on behalf of the leadership that is currently there. Could you explain how, if those people are being interviewed as well, how that works? Did they apply? And I heard you when you said we're not finished with the interview process, but I just want to clear up for the community that the process is a fair one to all involved.
Thank you. That is a great question. And again, one of the candidates is actually one of the leaders at the building. So we have not, eliminated anyone from this process. They're welcome to be a part of this and actually come and before the public, the community, and actually present to the audience. So definitely a candidate has, expressed interest. I know that the process is a little bit different, but this actual task performance will be open to everyone who is part of that.
Wonderful. Trustees, any other questions for Dr. Freeman surrounding the unification process? One thing I did want to lift is that this team is being very diligent and adamant in how we communicate, right? As a board, we recognize that we have some hurdles to overcome where it comes to communication, and we're taking the necessary steps to ensure that it is much more informative, timely, and that you get a clear sense of what's going on. So I would like to thank you all for the strategies that you've implemented in trying to keep the community ahead of the game. We know we have fallen short, and we have apologized for that, but I can see the change in how we're choosing to provide information, and I just wanted to say we really appreciate it. because it's evident that you're trying. And as long as you keep trying, you can't fail.
Well, thank you for that. And the committee emails have gone out, and we have already, surveyed the committee members, what are the best dates to meet, so that we can get that going as well, because we want that input. It's not just a one and done.
For sure.
We want input on leadership. We want input on staffing. We want input on parent engagement. So those committees are actually moving forward. Okay?
Yes.
Dr. Green, I'm sorry, Dr. Freeman, and thank you. Did we get any buy-in or input from our students?
Yes, they have a committee.
So we're inviting them to be part of this task performance and be in the actual audience, as well as we will be soliciting questions ahead of time from not only parents, but also our scholars, so that they may ask, what is it that you're looking for in your next leader? What questions might you have that you would like to have addressed before that person becomes your building leader?
I don't think we have not announced dates for these things.
No, we have
Is that
not. We
correct?
were talking about
Okay.
it today, and so we're almost there. We didn't want to take your study session, but we wanted to take your study session. on the
Understood.
23rd.
Yes.
We may take your study
Go ahead
session.
and take your study session.
We may.
My other question is, I know we're
We
testing.
wanted you to be a part of it. You know
For
what I'm
sure,
saying? Okay.
yes. I know we're testing right now, and we're having the assessment test for those students at MacArthur who will be transitioning into the unification of university. The results from that assessment, when should parents expect to see what that looks like and understand what the plan will be as far as us addressing their needs? If their child has needs, we may find that much of that community meets the rigor and the standard for university as an admission-tested school. But for those who may need extra help, when and how are we going to communicate to those parents where their child stands in this assessment? And then how are we going to communicate what the plan will be, whether that's staffing, literacy coach? I know we have multiple means of getting help, but how are we telling families what that will look like?
So the test for MacArthur is scheduled building-wide on the 13th.
Okay.
And that is an assessment. They will be taking the same admission exam that typically students would take to, meet the requirement to get into the university. But this is going to be used as baseline data, so that we will know which kids are going to be just fine, which kids might need a little bit of support, and which students might need intense support. All of our building leaders, as well as our teachers, have been trained on MTSS, multi-tier systems of support. So we have done a phenomenal job, thanks to Mrs. Carruthers, who put together the professional learning around that, so that resources are available district-wide. So it doesn't matter if you are a student at the U or a student at Bussey. Every now and again, you might need some support.
sure.
And so our goal is to fill in those gaps. We have a number of resources and tools that we use in order to build our students up. One of the quickest ways is to use the iReady pathways, which are individualized. It's based on your score. What area of support might you need? There's a 25-page report that we can give to parents to give them additional resources and tools of thinking, here's how you want to build up your students' deficit areas. So it's not just us in the district that's doing this work, it's a partnership between home and community. So that's the goal, so we can sit down and help put together a plan for each of those students that may require support, because it's going to look different for all of those students. But we're excited to do it. It's happening now. We're providing additional support right now to some of those scholars to get them ready for the assessment, as well as to identify areas that we need to strengthen our work.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Board President, there are three other points that I wanted to mention, one of which is the instructional committee. A lot of what you were referencing will come from the recommendations of the instructional committee led by Ms. Summer Caldwell Carruthers. The test results, the assessment results of the students' assessment on Friday usually takes no more than 30 days, because we do have to mail them back to California for scoring. So approximately 30 days, we'll have those results back in the district. And lastly is that of the students being grandfathered into the new K-12 campus. That is for this year only. So if families are currently MacArthur students and they decide that the unification is not for them now, and they leave to go to another school within Southfield Public Schools or anywhere else, and in year 2 or year 3, they wish to come back, they will not be grandfathered in. They will have to go through the application process and examination in order to receive a seat. Dr. Freeman and the team are currently working on a survey to send out to families to ask if they are going to accept their seat for the fall. It's an intent to return. We ask families to complete that once they receive the document, to ensure that we know how many scholars will be in front of each staff member in the new campus.
Thank you. Trustees, do you have any more questions regarding the unification process? Hearing none. Thank you, Dr. Freeman.
Okay, next on our agenda, our bond updates. You did receive a comprehensive report from our owner's rep, Plant Moran, on last Friday. Ms. TJ is here with us this evening. We have things happening throughout the entire district, from the demolition of the bleachers at the Lathrop campus. They will move to that of the Southfield A&T campus for the bleachers outside of the tennis courts. We have the walking track being installed at KLC. We are going around on Monday to do the preliminary interior door work at Levy, Burney, and Thompson. We have Adler moving along on schedule, and as of today, we did provide Ms. Cash with a new schedule to post on our website for our families to know where we are in the process and when they can expect to see work happening on their campuses. Any questions regarding the bond?
Nope, I read it all, and thank you for the work. It's looking good. Adler looks amazing, so thank you for that.
Thank you. We're excited. And also at our May meeting, we will have a recommendation before you for the new architect that will be responsible for designing the new campus, as well as the major renovations at Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology. Okay. I know, exciting times, very exciting. Well, we have more excitement to share with you because we have our partners from First Student here to discuss with us the new First View, which will allow our families to find out where their children are in real time. Take it away, Chris.
Well, they can find them if they're on a bus, but if they sneak out the window at night, that ain't gonna work. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, Superintendent Green, community. Thank you for having us all here today. It is very exciting to talk about this new initiative that we have coming out this year, and we will be piloting it over the summertime. But before I get into that, I wanted to take a moment, because I don't believe that we've had the opportunity to introduce to you the Director of Transportation for your school district, which is Mr. Maurice Johnson here. You know, Maurice started in November, and he's been really busy with all the training that First Student has going on and getting integrated with the school district. He's met with a lot of the building principals. He's building relationships with the staff within the department, as well as the principals and department heads that are going around throughout the meetings that we've had. And he's been talking with them, and he's been finding little things that he can implement to make our department better. And they've been putting in these little corrections here and there to make our system the best transportation department that it can possibly be. And it's been running pretty smoothly for the families in Southfield since it's been underneath his leadership. So we're very pleased to have him here. And he comes to us from some pretty high-powered jobs within Coca-Cola, Stellantis. And, you know, I love his temperament. I love his personality. I love his drive and his work ethic and his professionalism to make the transportation department for Southfield Public Schools the best transportation department in the state. You know, and that all starts with a good start to the school year. So we've been talking a lot and doing a lot of work within the district about making preparations for this coming school year. We have gone through and implemented the transportation playbook that we talked about back in September when I was here. And we've already had our first set of meetings with pulse checks, sharing and comparing information with folks within the district. We've been meeting with Joe quite often about this, and he's been a great partner and communicator in this area. Maurice has had the opportunity to meet a lot of the department heads, not all of them though, but this playbook is really going to force the two to talk so we can get to know who the department heads are, whether they're brand new or they've been in the district for years. Those pulse checks are going to be vitally important so we don't have a repeat of what happened last year. You know, and I will be working side by side with Maurice throughout the summer. As you know, he's coming from a different industry, so you know, I have a little bit of knowledge in the pupil transportation world through the 22 years I've been here. So I'm going to share all of that with Maurice and be working side by side with him. And we realized that, you know, pre-COVID, you know, our transportation department wasn't perfect, but we did a pretty doggone good job. And so we're going to kind of look to the past of what we were successful at, what we did really good, and see what has eroded and implement all of that for the start of this school year. So we're going back to the future a little bit to do what we did well and get that implemented and move forward. And I'm going to go through all that with Maurice throughout the summer, and he'll be in charge and implementing all of that. And so with that, we've got this First View app that is coming out to the parents, and I'd like Maurice, if you would, come up and meet the board, meet the community, and talk a little bit about this new program.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Good evening to the board, Dr. Green, staff. Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I wanted to give a special thanks to Joe. He's been instrumental in terms of getting me acclimated to my current job, as well as Mr. Jackson, acclimated to my current job. Thank you guys. You guys have really helped me get to this particular point. Getting started with First View. First of all, First View is a comprehensive, complete, engaging tool, communication tool, which will let, like Chris said, the parents, teachers, administrators, students know exactly where their buses are. It's going to save a lot of time in terms of whether or not I should make a phone call, who do I need to call, am I going to get through, am I going to get a live person, am I going to have to leave a voicemail? All those issues are going to go away. Kids won't be standing in the rain anymore, in the snow, in the cold. Kids won't be marked absent anymore because they're not in your class and you're not aware of the fact that their bus might be running late due to the inclement weather. All those things are going to go away. Parents are going to be able to be at ease. Students are going to be able to be at ease. Everybody else is going to be able to be more at ease, okay? Now, it's a collaborative effort between First Student, the implementation team, the customer support team, the data integration team, my team, which is called the depot team, but basically we're transportation, and of course the district team. We've all been collaborating to get us to this particular point. Now, this deck will run you through in terms of where we are, what we're doing, and basically where we're going, okay? Next slide, please. These are the owners of what's going on with First View. Phil Karen, Joe Carras, James Jackson. You can see my team there, Maurice Johnson. This is my assistant location manager, Julie Schilling, and my dispatchers and the rest of the team. We're the owners of this, okay? Next slide, please. You can see that the implementation team and the collaborative effort to this particular point, certain checks have been made, things look good, and all of the data is not going to really fill in until we actually deploy and start feeding that data into the dashboard, okay? Next slide, please. On here, we have certain dates in terms of when the dashboard will actually be deployed. The dashboard, once the information is fed into it, actually feeds the parent-student app, okay? The information from our system feeds into the dashboard at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, and every route from every school for every student will be on the dashboard, and it feeds into the parent-student app, okay? It'll have buses, routes, kids, schools, start time, stop times for arriving at school, arriving at people's homes. You can actually set up alerts if you're looking for a certain bus. If you're a child or parent looking for a certain bus, you can set up an alert that says, let me know when my bus is a mile away. Let me know when my bus is 750 feet away, okay? So it's all GPS tracking. It works just like we use in our cars to get from point A to point B. Or just like when we make that Grubhub order, we can see when they leave, we can see how they're tracking, we can see when they're supposed to arrive at our house and it says, oh, they're at our door. It's the same technology, the exact same technology. It's gonna, like I said, the collaborative effort between all of the stakeholders and all of the people involved is going to be what drives the system. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. This is really exciting. You mentioned about the information and the data uploading at 1 a.m. Can you give us a little more insight as it relates to a family who switches their home address? Like if they actually move or if there's a change in that way, how is that information then updated? Does it need to be updated? Like what's the starting point to make sure that it ends up being, updated as it needs to be?
Basically, they can make a call either to the front desk of someone at the school or to my team, and we can input those changes into the system. And then at the next feed or the next time the information rolls into our system, that data will be included in there.
Maurice, if I can add, I believe it has to be updated in our student information system. I see Chris nodding yes. So
Okay.
they would update that information through MyStar, and then our MyStar system, which is our student information system, will feed to your system, and it will update at 1 a.m. each morning.
Correct.
And then that will roll out the new information. Now, I will say that it's been taking anywhere between 48 and 72 hours for changes to be impacted, correct? Because it has to go through multiple systems in order to have the final outcome. The other piece that I wanted to lift, if they're following the bus on their app, and they have it set for 750 feet, the bus is not going to stay and wait because you decide to walk out the house once the bus gets there. So be mindful that once you see it coming, you need to come out the house and be at the bus stop, because the bus will still have to follow the schedule and cannot stop and wait and then have everyone rush out of their house at the same time. So set the app to have the warning a half mile out, and then make your way to the bus stop. So those are pieces I wanted to lift.
Well said, and yes, with the student data, it all goes through the student information. And then the system does a sweep of the new data that may have changed, it does a mass merge, and then it uploads everything at 1 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, it gets uploaded, then it gets downloaded at 1 o'clock in the morning, so the parents will have that the next morning.
Okay. All right, the dashboard is out there now. If you go out on the system, you can look at the users. Like I said, you can see the schools. You can see the template out there for the actual routing to come through on a per school basis with the A route, the B route, the C route, meaning the AM route, the midday route, or the PM route. So there's a lot of data out there already, and it's going really well. We're going to, like Chris said, we're going to do a test pilot for the summer school. That's going to be our test pilot to get us prepared basically to launch for the next beginning of the school year. Okay? Next slide, please. This is the implementation process. And if you look in terms of where we are physically today versus what you see up there, we're probably in step 3. The dashboard is up, it's operational, the information is out there, and we're basically working right now to get prepared to be able to enable registration, enable the parent-student app. Okay? Next slide, please. These are just some of the dates that we clicked off already, some of the things that we've gone through, and basically just checking our list, making a list, checking it twice. Next slide, please. Next slide, sorry. The various teams that have been involved in the collaboration, and specifically what each and every team does. Every team on here plays a very significant role in terms of this particular program. The district team, my team, in terms of making certain that the information is accurate, making certain that the buses are assigned to routes, and drivers are assigned to routes, and implementation and customer support and data integrity. Here again, a collaborative effort that's going really well right now. We expect that effort to continue as we move forward throughout the process. Next slide, please. When a parent, student signs on to First View, they're basically saying that we agree with the terms, we acknowledge, and we accept. Okay? And they basically consenting. Okay? Security, we offer industry standard security, SSL security, security socket level security, encryption, and we can add additional layers of security as necessary if warranted. Right now, we're going to use the district code in terms of accessing the system and all that type of stuff. But if warranted, and we want to move in that direction, of course, we can set up for each and every student on the system to have a 6-digit separate ID number, if warranted. But right now, we feel like we're in great shape going with the district login, so that is the direction in which we're going.
And it will be secure for each parent for all of their children. They can only see their children's bus. And we do have the ability to remove users if there's any kind of custody issues and we have to make changes in that regard. We have the ability to do that as well. But it will be definitely unique to the individual student. If they have multiple students in the household, that parent will have access to all 3 of those students and just their students.
Okay. Next slide, please. Vehicle assignment, that's my team. It's all my team. That's the depot team. Depot meaning transportation. We're basically going to be handling all that, making certain that all that information is accurate. Summer tracking, we normally don't do summer tracking, but this time around for this particular area, we're going to track as a test pilot to get ready so that we're ready to go to launch when the school season starts in the fall. Okay, next slide, please. Schedule changes, unplanned changes. We have some bad weather sometimes. And of course, we'll have to make same-day changes. At certain points of the time, certain changes won't take effect. Let's say if a bus has already left, so you can't make changes because it's already in the departed status, but we can send out alerts, letting people know basically what's going on and things like that, okay? Some things I'd like to mention at the end. We will provide frequently asked questions and how to enroll in the app. We'll provide all that material, that literature, with our back-to-school mailing, okay? We will provide marketing materials to the district and the schools. Schools will disseminate to the parents when they walk into the registration period, okay? We'll do it for summer school, we'll do it for the fall, we'll do it as necessary to be able to get that done. You'll have that information in your hands. Student registration offers will disseminate to parents when they register at their particular office or their respective offices, okay? We will also have that information in transportation, just in case somebody stops by our office to get that information as well. This is my first exposure to this program. I love it. I love what I do. I have a passion for what I do, which means I love what I do. And I'm willing to engage and speak with people in order to make it better. I'm just open. And I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity to come speak with you tonight. And I'm looking forward to some really, really, really great things.
Let me just add real quick.
Questions?
We're not a guinea pig for this program. You're not a beta site. This has been a proven system for how many years? 4 years, I think. So it's been played out in other districts. It's been foolproof, and we look for a bulletproof start.
We actually started trying to implement this when I was the location manager here before COVID. And just kind of never got off the ground through the district phase with training and whatnot. So it's not new. We have several of our locations that are using it, have been using it. And the ones that are, when I talk to them, they say that they love it, are the ones that the districts are the most engaged in and help disseminate the information to get to the parents. The ones that have it implemented that are saying it's not so successful are the ones that they're just going to have parents signing up for it because they don't know about it. As much as we try to do it ourselves, we're just, it takes a bunch to get this out.
So, yeah.
That's why we want to provide the marketing materials and the FAQs and the how-tos and everything to the district so that everybody has it at the school, at the front office, front desk here.
So my ask to the administration is a couple of things. The first of which, we have a spring open house. And I would love to either have a representative from First Student on site with a how-to, whether it's a video or if you have an iPad, so that those parents and grandparents that aren't quite acclimated to technology and apps can get a hands-on training, so to speak, on how to use the system. My second ask is that we have that posted on our website. And my third is for the back-to-school fair, since we know that's a very large draw, that we have some information available or even something interactive so that parents can physically try it out.
I was also thinking a how-to video.
Yes.
To walk them through.
For sure.
Posted on our website as well.
And we're also going to put that, as Maurice had mentioned, when we do our back-to-school letters and we say, hey, send the letters to the parents with their busing information for their child, it'll have that flyer in that
And
envelope as well.
what is our timeline for those back-to-school busing letters this year?
Second week of
Team?
August.
I was going to say, we have it in the playbook, second week in August, they will have that information.
Okay. Is it possible, and if it's not, just tell me straight up, is it possible to get it out a little earlier? You have a lot of families that are shell-shocked from last year.
We
Straight
talked
up.
about that, moving it up, and it was determined that
It
it
can't happen.
wasn't, not that it couldn't happen, but there are oftentimes changes that occur with people registering late, and so there's a lot of shifts that occur, and to avoid the frustration of parents getting 2 or 3 or 4 different routes, we want to ensure that they get the accurate information once all of the uploads and downloads have occurred with the system.
And the first day of school is the 4th week of August, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we talked about moving it up, Dr. Green and I, when we explained that, the information would just be so inaccurate, it would literally cause way more problems than it would solve. But, I mean, some of the things that we have implemented, not only with the move over here to mitigate some of the challenges that we had last year, was the new phone system that we installed, the Zoom phone systems with a stacking system, so that parents won't call and sit on hold for 12 seconds and then get hung up on by the system. They'll just go in a queue. Any other questions about the program? the direction.
I think it's important to note also that Chris has an office here now, and I've chained him to his desk.
Can't say that on camera.
We're going to keep him nearby.
Thank you, Joe. Trustee Joyce?
I just want to make a comment. I remember several years ago, I sat with you guys when you talked about it at a expo at another state for one of our conferences. And when you shared that with me and sitting down with a lot of people, the first thing I said is, when are you going to bring that to Southfield? And you and the rest of the guys said, soon. And so I'm just happy to see it coming.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And it's going to enable a lot of great communication because literally Maurice and Julie at their desk, if they have a vehicle breakdown while it's on the road, if there's some sort of a traffic delay, road closure that's delaying a bus route or multiple bus routes, they can just type a message to the parents of bus route 21, hit send, and all those parents will get an alert on their phone saying the bus is running 10 minutes late, sorry. So it's fantastic technology. And once again, I just wanted to thank Maurice for coming up here. I wanted him to meet you. I wanted you to feel the same thing that I did. And he had me hooked right there in the interview. I just knew he was the right fit for Southfield and he's the right leader for our location here. So glad to have him. Very blessed.
I just have one comment to the Transportation Depot team. Thank you so much for all that you're putting forth for our parents. It is important that, this is the first interaction a child has when they're stepping on the bus steps. And parents knowing that they are safe and getting to where they need to be. Back in the day, it was just follow a dot for the older children on an Apple product. But thank you so much for bringing us to our district and making sure that our parents are in tune and where their scholars are. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. And like I said, I love the new technology, but I'm never going to be comfortable with it and not sending out a letter telling parents, this is your bus stop. There's what time your kid will be picked up. And that warm handshake with that letter, I don't think technology can replace that. So, thank you.
Thank you all. And you may have heard them mention that they are now housed here at JWE. We have relocated them from the mobile units across the parking lot, so we're happy to have them here. Next on the agenda, we have an update relative to communications and our Director of Communications, Ms. Alexandra Cash.
Good evening, everyone. Board, President Bland, Dr. Green, Ms. Foster, community, online viewers. I'm glad to stand up here and present to you guys a communications and marketing update. Just pull up my notes. And we got the clicker. So we get started. So we're going to start and take a look at last year's enrollment campaign, beginning with our media efforts, our paid media efforts. As many of you guys saw, we placed 2 billboards, one on 275 freeway near 10 Mile, and which reached 73,851 commuters weekly, and on 696 near Greenfield Road, which reached 561,858 people weekly. We also partnered with the Oakland County Smart Buses to place 4 side bus posters and 7 posters on the back, which resulted in our promotional materials on 11 routes, which traveled throughout multiple cities in Oakland County. As well as our visuals, many of you heard our radio ads on WJLB that ran from June 19th to August 20th, which reached 58,900 listeners weekly. 58,900 listeners weekly. Also, through our paid media efforts, we had a listing in the Big Book of Schools and an ad through Metro Parent Magazine. And throughout the year, we placed multiple ads in the Southfield Sun promoting enrollment, our events, celebrating our scholars and staff. And these pictures are just some of our ads that we placed in the Southfield Sun. And the one on the bottom is our listing, which you can't really read, that was in the Big Book of Schools. Now we will shift to our enrollment events that we hosted last year. We had our spring open house in May, where we highlighted all of our schools and programs, which 750 families attended. We had our annual back to school fair, and even though we had to switch the event inside due to the weather, we had a great turnout. Over 2,000 families attended. We also had Dr. Darius come from WJLB, and we had a food truck, and it was just a great time. And then we also had our kindergarten roundup events in January. Also, over the last summer, I developed 2 important documents for my department in the district: the Communications Playbook and the Style and Brand Guidelines. So the Communications Playbook has 4 main goals: establishing messaging guidelines, enhancing school and family engagement, improving internal communications and collaboration, enhancing external engagement and public relations. This playbook outlines all communication channels used at the building and district level. It outlines their use, best practices, and the expectations of each school when it comes to that communications channel. I'm very proud to share that I presented my school communications playbook that I created to the Michigan School Public Relations Conference in March, where over 30 other Michigan school communication directors attended my session, and it's now being implemented at many school districts across Michigan. Thank you. I also created our brand and style guideline, which outlines our brand and includes our fonts, colors, proper logo usage, and incorrect logo usage, as well as information on our collateral materials. And this was created to ensure consistency, guide content creation, define and protect brand identity, and streamline decision making. Now we will move into our earned media opportunities. Last year, we earned many opportunities to be featured on news, articles, and in the radio. From our football championship to opening a new health clinic, there was one point that we were in the news media multiple times a week. Positive things. Altogether, last year, we had over 50 earned media opportunities, which is huge for a school district this size. And we have also been featured on all local channels, and recently we were featured on Education Week, which is a national publication. And to know me is to know this is what I love, the PR side of my job. This is my favorite part. I love working with the media, building those relationships, writing press release, finding information for the reporter. I got my degree in public relations, so this is really my expertise, is the PR side, and I love this part.
And we have a press release coming out this evening, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Keith McKenzie. And these are just some pictures from some of the articles we landed in. We have, just some great pictures right there. Now we will talk about our communications and marketing for the 2022 Capital Facilities Bond. On our websites, you can find progress visuals, our quarterly dashboard, which is right there on the bottom. Can't really read it, but it's on the website. You'll also find vendor fair information. We just had a vendor fair in March, so there's not really new information on that, but if we do have another one, the information will be posted there. For our marketing update related to the bond, after the bond passed, we began our thank you campaign, which included thank you banners located at multiple schools, as well on our social media and our website, and we also sent out thank you letters. Starting towards the end of the school year, we will begin posting updates to our social media. We have a calendar that is ready to go with our captions and graphics, thanks to the amazing marketing team at Plant Moran. They have also created brochures and informational cards on the projects that are taking place at all of the schools, and they are located in the main desk. The main office, the main desk, the main office, same thing. So, yep, they're at the desk. We also have our bond posters. You can see one back there by the door, and they're hanging up at all the schools. So now we're going to get into our marketing for the spring, summer this year. So our objective model goal this year is to recruit low, retain high. Meaning we need to recruit young scholars and retain our middle and high school scholars with a special light on retaining our 8th graders. With that being said, a lot of our marketing initiatives this year will be focused on highlighting BUSC, A&T, and the U. I'm a person who listens and adjusts, and what I was hearing from the board and the community is that we were lacking physical marketing materials. So this year I adjusted and we changed our approach. Instead of billboards and bus ads, we are moving to more traditional marketing this year, every door direct. The first piece that will be delivered to your doorstep will be a one-pager highlighting the district as a whole, and on one side, and the other side, it will be highlighting BUSC in our high schools. This will be coming in the next couple weeks. I sent it to the printer today, so it should be in your mailboxes in the next couple weeks. Also through Every Door Direct, towards the middle of July, you'll receive a postcard with enrollment information and a reminder about our back to school fair. These two materials will not only be delivered to Southfield and Lathrop homes, but Oak Park and Farmington families will receive it as well. I just want to jump over to the radio ads real quick. So you will hear us on WJLB promoting the spring open house from April 29th to May 5th, and then back on air promoting enrollment in the back to school fair from June to August. I just want to take a little side note, and I want to talk about our audiences and how we plan to track these deliverables and to know if our campaigns were successful. So first, our audience for our Every Door Direct campaigns and the radio ads are ultimately prospective families in Southfield and surrounding areas, but also for our families that already attend SPS schools or who have left. Our goal with these campaigns is to highlight our successes in hopes of retaining the scholars we have and attracting those families who may have left. Now, how do we track to see if our campaigns are successful and our KPIs, which are key performance indicators? So the first thing is, and probably the easiest, and that we probably should have been doing, is adding to the enrollment forms, how did you hear about Southfield Public Schools? This will give us data on whether the Every Door Direct mail persuaded them, word of mouth, the radio ads, or even a Google search. This will directly assist us in tracking our ROI, return on investment. That's one data set. Next, on our Every Door Direct materials, I have placed a QR code which takes the reader to our enrollment page on the website. Through our website analytics, I can track how many people visit the page, and that's another data set that we can use. We will also be placing a 4-page booklet in the Southfield Sun, which will highlight each department and schools. This will go to all Southfield homes, and this is expected to be in the June 5th edition of the Southfield Sun. We will also have a listing in the Big Book of Schools and a full-page enrollment ad in the Metro Parent magazine once again, and we will continue to place ads in the Southfield Sun for our events, enrollment, and congratulatory, you know what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out, but you don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just gonna move past the word. Okay, next. So we have our spring open house, which was mentioned. It will be on May 9th, 2024, and our back to school fair is set for August 15th, 2024. And the spring open house is from 4 to 7, and the back to school fair will be from 3 to 7 p.m. What we've all been waiting for. So right now my department has a couple of special projects. The website redesign is fully underway. The step I am currently at is content migration. Going through each page of the website, updating information, and transferring it to final site. Last week we received the first draft of the homepage. We made edits, and now we are waiting to receive that back. The projected launch date for our new website is, drumroll, July 26, 2024. I feel the same. Okay. For Messages XR, our Oakland Schools team, tech team, is currently working with Final Site to complete the data migration sheets, which compile all of our student and parent information. I'm completing the training right now, and then next, the training will go to our building leaders, and then whoever else needs the training. We hope to have Messages XR up and running by the end of May. And Messages XR is our mass notification system that we will be using in case anyone is confused. Update on the communications coordinator posting. We have received 13 applicants for the communications coordinator position. We will be reaching out to qualified candidates next week. We'll be reaching out to interview qualified candidates next week. Okay. So our social media has been on fire from June 1st, 2023 to April 1st, 2024. We have gained 923 followers on Instagram and 556 on Facebook. Going back to the communications playbook, one of the expectations of each school is to have at least a Facebook and Instagram and post at least 3 times a week. And I'm so happy, I'm so proud after all of this work, every school has a Facebook and Instagram. Yes. Some are more active than others, but this is the first year that this was a requirement. So we will just continue to work on that, but I'm just so happy that everyone has an online presence now. It's just so important to highlight what's going on in each building. It draws people, it draws parents, it draws current parents, prospective parents. It's just so important. So I'm glad we're on the same page now. I would like to say thank you to all the building leaders, our webmasters, our social media representatives in each school for stepping up and working with me to complete this goal. We release a monthly newsletter that goes out that highlights all of our stakeholders, events, accomplishments, activities, important news in the district, important news on the district. And then our video production, we have really ramped up our video production this last year and a half. Excuse me. We have done a number of different projects such as school highlight videos, our Marches Reading Month videos, Employee and Partner of the Month videos that you saw earlier. We tried to make it to every school to record events, recitals, performances, everything. We have done numerous informational videos, and I just want to say thank you to Octavia. She's often behind the scenes, but she is so amazing, and she's so creative, and she really supports me. When I can't make it to an event, she goes. If she can't make it, I go. So she's just been such a great help, and I really gave her the authority to, just go into the schools and figure out what you want to record, what kind of video do you want to do. So she's really stepped up, and she goes to the schools by herself, and she just comes up with the whole plan. I don't have to be there, I don't have to write a script, she does it all. So yep. I would also like to encourage our staff and our community, if you have something that you would like highlighted on our social media, in our newsletter, possibly create a video out of it, please email me or fill out the video production form on the website under communications. And that's all I have. What questions might you have for me?
I don't have a question, but I would like to say that I'm super proud of the work that you do. I said to you, you're going to present at this board meeting, and you did not let me down. And this is awesome. I read it in my email, and I said, oh, look at this. So, really excited for you to get some help, right? Because I know you're just going to soar once you have a little bit more bandwidth. And keep up the good work. This is really, really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Cash, hello there.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I just wanted to ask a quick question. You said the marketing, you're going to be heavily focusing on 8th graders. Did I hear that correct?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
can you tell me why?
So our goal is really to, retain our 8th graders because, you know, a lot of times 8th graders, they have the choice of where they want to go to high school. And, you know, our high school has great programs, great, just academic opportunities that we need to share to our 8th graders so they can be encouraged to attend. So that's our focus this year.
And if I might add, that's where the data shows that we lose most of our students, right? So we've actually looked at that data as a board and realized that we're losing them when it comes to going to 9th grade because there are so many choices. So that is kind of what drove her focus as well.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Congratulations. Every
Thank
time I
you.
see you, I just say congrats. I'm just so proud.
Thank you.
Like a big sister proud.
Thank you.
My question is regarding the bond and getting some footage onto our social media. We talked about it before, you wearing a camera or someone from the team. Do we have a timeline? I know I was just completely in awe of walking through when the team took me through Adler recently. Do we have a timeline for when we're going to get some of that footage on our social media?
We do have the GoPros now in the district. We will work with our tech team along with the Barton Mallow and Plant Moran communications team to get that updated. So we will have a timeline for you at the next meeting. Okay.
We do have a social media calendar, though, that is set with like graphics and captions for the bond. So we could share that as well.
Okay. And I had another question as it relates to, first of all, just kudos with your, the department development as far as the guidelines that the playbook and the branding and style guidelines that you've produced. My question is, as it relates to, how do I want to ask this? The dissemination of that guideline. Will it go to the building leaders? How will we make sure the parent groups, the proper person, has it within the parent groups and then they're passing it along, to the next person? Is there a plan? High level for sure, but just thinking of, how to make sure.
So the communications playbook is internal. So it's only for internal use, so the communications playbook. But the brand and style guide is on our website. And, when somebody reaches out to me and asks for the logo, I send the logo as well as our brand and style guide. So I don't think the brand and style guide is to be shared through an email blast, but it's there on the website in case anyone does need it. And you can reach out to me if you are in need of the logo, and I will approve it if it's approvable.
Yeah, I think that's the most important piece that she lifted. So instead of us pushing it out to everyone, if there's an external group, partner group that wishes to use our logo, it has to be approved by the district before it can be utilized. Yeah.
Anyone else? Hearing none, good job, Ms. Cash. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cash. Amazing job. Great work. Next, we will have the BUSSI's director report. Dr. Thompson?
Good evening, Board President, Board Trustees, and Dr. Green. So I'm here to present the April 2024 Board Report for BUSSI, Center for Early Childhood Education, and this is reflecting the March numbers, okay? So the first thing we're going to start out with is March is Reading Month, and you'll see Dr. Kelly Wash is reading to our littles. Those are the toddlers in the tadpole room. And then we had a little sitting there in the reading nook. And so for March's Reading Month, Dr. Kelly Wash and the early childhood specialist read to students. Dr. Kelly Wash distributed 2 March's Reading Month calendars to staff and to families. So the calendars shared with families addressed the 5 components of reading, so phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary fluency, comprehension, and writing. So we're really trying to start early and connect with the district as well. And here we have an emerging writer. So again, when Dr. Kelly Wash came in, she really focused on writing because we know that that's one of the district's goals for this year. For enrollment, holding steady at 16 for early Head Start and 94 slots of the funded slots for Head Start and 31 for GSRP. We didn't have any drops. Our average daily attendance is still at 79%. We've had lots of illnesses, and we have been tracking consistently the family service workers and the URSIA manager. So bringing in doctor's notes and things like that. We've had to send kids home as well, and we have our student nurse interns there. So if a child is sick, we can call on them to assist. For the month of March, for the child adult care food program, we served 4,464 adults and children. We're still with the 3 IEPs and 1 referral. For the curriculum instruction, we continue to implement the high scope curriculum. We're in the third period. I have second, but it's a third period for the Core Advantage data collection period. So that's from March 3rd to the end of June. And then I have data to present to you. And then one of the things that we've been focusing on now, Dr. Kelly Wash has been doing classroom observations, and then we are meeting together to engage in discussions and reflections with the teachers. So there is our fall to winter data, and this is for Head Start. So in each of the areas, they made gains. So if you see approaches to learning, you can see across the board, each they made some considerable gains. And then for early Head Start, they made gains in most of the areas, with the exception of, I think, 3 areas. And with those 3 areas, we are focusing some things, doing some things with just changing some things with the classroom, as well as we focused on these areas with our upcoming program goals as well to make sure that we're meeting our targets. It's 1. And then with staffing, we now have 4 teacher vacancies and 5 teacher CDA vacancies. We just hired a new teacher, and then we have an assistant teacher that's waiting to be hired. She's just waiting on her background check to clear. We have opened a new classroom, so we currently have 10 of the 13 classrooms open. So we have 4 Head Start classrooms, 2 early Head Start, 3 Head Start GSRP out of the 4, and 1 GSRP open. And with the Head Start classroom that we opened, it's not completely full, but we're adding kids as we go along until the end of the program year. Current events, this week we're celebrating the Week of the Young Child. So we know it's the month of the young child, but this is the Week of the Young Child. So Monday was Music Monday, and we had a parade. So some of the classrooms made instruments, and then we paraded around the building. Others just used existing instruments, and we paraded around the building from 10 o'clock until 2 rounds around the building. On Tuesday, we did Tasty Tuesday. So some of the classrooms they cooked some items, and then we provided pineapples and strawberries, and they cut them up and served them. So had fruit salad for the kids. Today was Work Together Wednesday, and so we had one classroom. We have big boxes that we received with refrigerators that we got, and they made a spaceship with that. Really cool. Others built within the classroom, so working together. They seem to be having a lot of fun with that. So tomorrow is Artsy Thursday, and then Friday is Family Friday. And so we're going to ask our families to send in pictures, and we're going to make slideshows and then post the pictures to our Facebook and Instagram. And then for upcoming events, we have the Oakland County Preschool Fair that's being held this Saturday. So we have, they've asked 1 teacher and 1 administrator to attend. We do have a table, and we'll be there so we can recruit kids at that event. And again, I mentioned that we'll be attending the National Head Start Conference, April 14th through 18th. So Trustee Joyce and Trustee Holloway will be attending that with us. Looking forward to that. And then we have the Bussy Staff versus Fathers basketball game in the spirit of the Fatherhood Initiative, and that's Saturday, April 27th, from 12 to 3, and that'll be held at Levy Middle School. And that's it. Any questions?
Through the chair. One question, staffing. There are 5 teachers, 5 assistant teachers, 4 teachers. Are the assistant teachers the ones that are in the classroom with the teachers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
so-
there's, for compliance sake, there's 2 teachers that have to be in the classroom, so there's a lead and there's an assistant, and they work together.
And then you have one in the hiring process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An assistant, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Dr. Khan?
Yes.
I'm concerned about the ADA, that's the average daily attendance. That's something that we've always been concerned about for the 10 years I've been with Head Start. Is there any guidelines or any suggestions coming from headquarters as far as ADA? Are they giving you this, are they excusing you for the low? Because that's low.
They have not brought that up as a concern, but we do have documentation of what we're doing. So if we have students that are absent, we are requiring, if they're absent for a certain period of time, we are requiring that they bring in doctor's notes. So if we have kids who are gone for an extended period of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, but the teachers are, what they do is they call they're supposed to call within by noon and call if families don't come in. So we are keeping track of them. The family service workers are also keeping track of them as well. And then if we have students who aren't attending, then we're going to have to drop them at some point. So that's something that we have a plan moving forward so that we're not just letting kids hang out there. But we do have a lot of kids who've been sick, and I've had staff that have been sick as well with the up and down weather and all of that. So I don't think it's just people not attending. And if there are cases like that, we are addressing it.
Okay.
I do have a couple of questions. At our study session, there were some deliverables that we asked for. The first of which was the number of people that were surveyed
Yes.
for the survey that do you have that number?
Of course. So I was told 40. I did talk to Mr. Parr, and he said 40.
So 40 parents were surveyed.
Parents and stakeholders, I asked for a breakdown. He didn't have a breakdown of that. So I sent the survey out to parents and to stakeholders, to the board, and so 48. Yeah.
Okay. So it's an anonymous survey? Curious.
No, you're supposed to click. You had the opportunity to click if you were a staff member, if you were a community member, and if you're a parent. So I did. Yeah.
Okay. And the last part, Trustee Smith-Thomas had asked about our partnership with the City of Southfield for Month of the Young Child. So I was wondering, have we established that partnership is still standing?
No, I didn't do that. I apologize. Yeah. I will.
Understood.
One of the things I did do is make sure that we had activities that were in place. So I will make sure to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
And lastly, because we hear a lot from Bussy at our board meetings, how is the morale in your building?
I think we're struggling.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have a mental health provider that's beginning to provide services, and I had a teacher reach out to me, so we're going to do we've missed a couple of birthday celebrations, but we're going to do some ice cream and cake. Yeah. Okay. And we've been providing coffee on a daily basis too. Not that that's everything, but trying to do some things. And we'll do another big activity before the school year ends.
And just for clarity, the compliance situation with having an assistant teacher in the room with a teacher, with 5 teachers being vacant, are we out of compliance?
No, not at all. We have subs. We have subs from Elite. We have subs from SubHub, and then subs from Procare. So,
Okay.
yeah, we have,
Understood.
we're always there. So we do have other partners who come in, but even if we have a nurse in the classroom, if we have a foster grandparent, we have to have the two staff members.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair.
Yes.
You may have mentioned it, but I just have a couple of questions. You mentioned that there's a preschool fair on the 13th of this month. So do you have recruitment plans while you attend this? And how will that coincide with working to get teachers on board to fill these spots so that we can have the children in the proper classrooms that they need?
So with the plans, so what the plan is for the Oakland Schools Fair is that we send, as I said, we send the two people there. They have activities planned for families, and then we'll bring some of our literature with Bussy, and as well as the high scope curriculum as well. So we'll have opportunities to talk about Bussy and showcase it, and we'll bring some of our literature. We are actively interviewing right now, so we have, we interviewed 2 candidates today, 2 assistant teacher candidates, and then one assistant teacher candidate and 1 teacher candidate, and then we have another interview tomorrow, so we continue to do that.
Trustees, are there any more questions? Trustee Smith-Thomas?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm looking at the upcoming events, and I'm noticing the Michigan AUIC conference, and I do understand that the dates do kind of run up against each other for the Head Start Conference, but their conference starts on the 18th, and I believe it's in Grand Rapids. Do we have anyone, or at least maybe 2, staff people? I think it would be a perfect opportunity for maybe even teachers. Have we identified anyone to attend?
No, we have planned to go to the High Scope Conference and then to the National Head Start Conference, but that's something we can consider going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Board President, I would like to make a strong recommendation to our superintendent, since this is a topic that has come up a couple of times, particularly with this organization. I'm going to ask that this board supports perhaps even a strong recommendation or a directive that Head Start incorporates the Michigan AUIC as a member, as a partner, and identify two teachers, whomever they want to decide who will support going and taking advantage of the trainings and events and conferences moving forward, so that we can create that partnership, because this has been brought up for a number of months now.
Yep, understood.
Thank you.
And received.
Also, I'm concerned as well with the daily attendance, and I know you mentioned about, youngsters and families and even teachers being sick. I also heard you mention that sometimes scholars are out for like a week or 2 at a time. Do we have anything that progress monitors, like say, in most districts, there's like after a 3-day, after 6-day, after 9-day, how are you making sure that it's not reaching the point where you have to drop them, or they've been gone so long and then you find out that they are, that they've been sick?
The teachers, part of the process is that they're supposed to call every day. So teachers do call, they'll come and they'll talk to me, they'll talk to the family service workers and say, so-and-so's been out. I called the parent, I called the parent today, I called the parent. So they will call, the family service workers will call, and URSIA manager will call. So it's not, so even if the parent doesn't respond, we continue to call, may call somebody else and just say, can you have so-and-so to call me? Because of course you can't share information with somebody, but we do that. So we do have a process that's outlined in our parent policy that shows the progression of things. So the first thing that we're supposed to do is contact the parents on a daily basis, the families. And a lot of times the families will call in and say, my child is ill, and maybe they will be out for the week, or, if they're that ill. So, but we have been tracking that. So although it's at 79%, I'm confident that we are tracking, and even one of the things the IRSAM manager has started to do is to run a report at the end of the week so that we can track, if somebody falls through their cracks, so we can look at that. So, and it's just, yeah, it just seems like it's, with the illnesses and all of that, it's just up and down.
Okay. And I know that during COVID, there were a lot of supports that were in place at Bussey that supported families from a virtual standpoint. Are we doing any of those types of supports now? Obviously not in line with COVID compliance, but simply from the standpoint of wanting to make sure our scholars are still being engaged, even though they may be away?
So we haven't done the remote piece. I know I've had one parent come in, we've shared the parent links with them, so they asked for, quote, homework, so shared parent links with them so that they could keep up with what's going on. So, but that's something that, we can look into as well. And
What parent communication systems are you using in the building?
we use Remind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Use it as a two-way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when we send anything out, if a parent has something to reply, they'll reply to me or whoever sent it. So, if I send something out, they can't read it, like send a calendar out. Dr.
Are
Thompson?
any of your teachers using Class Dojo?
No, we decided that we would use Remind as a building. So, yeah, so it will be consistent.
Okay. Another question I have, your slots, are they all full day now, or do you have any half day?
No, they're all full day.
All full day? Okay. The core advantage. So when we were in New Orleans, one thing I was really excited about was visiting the schools. And in their elementary school, they have a pre-K to grade 2 curriculum director. So that was my jam. The reason for that is it helped serve as a bridge between those early years and getting them into the trajectory of that K-12 space. My question as it relates to the core advantage, how often are we assisting that transition, that kindergarten transition, with sharing the core advantage results, particularly in the areas of language literacy and communication and mathematics?
So we communicate with parents. We have 2 home visits shared.
I'm sorry, to the buildings.
We haven't shared but that's something we're going to do in terms of working with the kindergarten teachers before, and that's going to be part of the transition. That's something that we're committed to doing. But we haven't shared the core advantage with the buildings as a whole.
And how many data sets do you have? Which dates?
You
You have 2 data sets currently?
So we have fall and winter, and we're collecting for the 3rd period. And then we'll also have the benchmark for Brigance and then post-assessment as well.
Board President, might I provide a strong recommendation and/or directive to the superintendent? Sure. That we get that data, those 2 data sets out to the schools, especially since we've already done kindergarten roundup. We're at April now. I think we have more than enough data sets to share with the building so they can start to plan and at least have some baseline data. Thank you.
Board President, if I may, our data coordinator is actually here in the audience this evening. So, Ms. Daniels, please get those data sets to the schools. Sure will. Okay. For those of you that have not met our new data coordinator, Ms. Bernice Daniels was a recent promotion that you approved within the district.
Nice.
Thank you. I'll get back to you.
And are you recruiting for the basketball game? I see the flyer
Yes, we are.
says wanted. I mean, I can't play because I'm not a father, but.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Randall, who's in charge of our Father Initiative, he was outside, when was it? Today is Wednesday, so he was outside yesterday. So he's, at the beginning of the day, he's at both doors trying to recruit dads. So I did have a dad say I wasn't coming to the game, but I am now. So we're hoping to get enough fathers. I think we will.
All right, and are there any opportunities for the board to support for the Month of the Young Child?
Yes, can I get back to you on that and give you some specifics? Yes, of course.
Thank you.
We'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else for Dr. Thompson? Hearing none. Thank you, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board President. That concludes the report of the superintendent. All right. Public participation. If you wish to address the board regarding a school-related issue that has not yet been resolved by school administration, please submit a comment card immediately. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. As a matter of fairness, speakers with complaints against individuals are asked not to mention any persons by name. Complaints concerning employees pursuant to Board Policy 9130 should be brought to the school administration or other administrators before coming to the Board of Education. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Ms. Betty Robinson?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Leslie, I am so glad you asked the question that you did tonight because you were given some bad information. Busty is listed as a high scope curriculum. You can't be that if you do not have certified teachers. So I think maybe there is one who's certified in high scope. And I know that because I called Oakland County Schools and I was informed that their program, it takes 2 years to be high scope certified, and we don't have anybody at Busty attending that, okay? Also, you have a problem with teacher attendance. You also have a problem with a conflict of interest with managers hiring the parents on policy council, the daughter's a teacher, and the son-in-law is a teacher. You just hired Miss Kelly Walsh. You need to talk to her because she's experiencing a lot of things that I've been trying to tell you guys for the last 3 years. Busty teachers have been here trying to tell you guys, and absolutely nothing has been done. I don't know if you're aware that Busty reports directly to the school board with a dotted line to the superintendent. So you guys should be attending those policy council meetings like I did for 12 years and Mr. George continuing. So you know what's going on. The money is being wasted. Our children will not be kindergarten ready because it's just a glorified ghetto babysitting service. You understand me? Now it's gotten to the point that you're affecting my granddaughter who's going to attend there. And I'm letting you know that I will be calling the Office of Head Start in Chicago and Washington, D.C. to report these problems because nobody here is doing anything about it. And I'm tired of talking about it. I brought it to you when I was when I was on the board previous. Nobody did anything. So I'm going to take action. If I had to be a one-woman wrecking ball, I would be that, okay? Also, Dr. Freeman mentioned about combining the school with Southfield Lathrop. Have you had a meeting with the stakeholders, the homeowners, the parents in Southfield and Lathrop? When Linda Wood brought MacArthur students to that school, we had an auditorium filled with parents. They asked questions. We explained everything to them to make sure their kids would be safe. Have you done that? Because I haven't seen any meetings set up for any parents. That has to be done before you combine those schools. And why don't we have a principal at MacArthur yet? What's the problem with finding a principal? Why does it take that long to find somebody who's qualified? I am so disappointed with this school district because this used to be a premier school district when Dr. Wanda Cook Robinson was here and when Linda Wood. And now it's just falling apart. And I am so ashamed because we voted, we passed your bond, and we passed your millage. I do not want my money to be wasted on a failing school district. So you need to fix it.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Action items, Report 6294, Personnel Action Report. Is there a motion on the floor to open and approve?
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Trustees, is there any discussion around Report 6294?
Number 4. Is that a position that can be staffed with industry expert?
It can be staffed, Board President, if I may.
Yes.
It can be staffed with industry expert as long as they are willing to go through the process. So they would receive the emergency cert to go through the process for the alternative pathway, yes.
Okay.
And that's the attempt that we've made, the last two individuals, to have an industry expert in that area. As you know, being a certified teacher, that methodology is extremely important. So sometimes it's a leap for those individuals, but we will continue down that path as well.
Okay. Number 5, is this a shortage area? And what do we think will be the impact?
So this is the individual that we discussed last meeting, and you specifically lifted the fact that we were going to cover with
That's right.
alternative methods until the end of the school year, and with the phasing out of grade levels at this respective school, we don't believe that it's going to be an issue. And part of the staffing piece that we went over at the last study session, we did take that into account.
Okay. Number 11. What's the impact? This seems to be
So-
that area, that
Yeah,
department
that's-
area.
That's a special case.
That's an anomaly. That's an
Okay.
anomaly that we will discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an anomaly. I am pleased to say that number 9
Yes.
will also be joining the district on a daily basis in
Yes.
a full-time capacity as well.
Okay, good. Very good. We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I am pleased with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other route.
That's
Yeah.
moving forward. The district route,
Yes,
that's moving
we're still
forward.
doing that.
Yeah, we're still doing that as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We have a lot of things in motion. And then I guess I jumped the gun with number 6
We're not
on
gonna
her, her assignment change to data
We're not gonna
coordinator.
make that mistake again.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
We're good.
Yeah.
And
That's what
yes,
I was thinking
number
about.
6 is good, and that was announced as well.
Okay, and then on the second report, number 1 and number 3, I guess still concerned about that
Yep.
department
As are we,
area.
and we are looking at some alternative routes for that as well, for those services. We will have to offer compensatory services for that.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Board President.
Wonderful. Does anyone else have any discussion regarding 6294? Hearing none. Board Secretary, when you're ready, please call for the vote.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Trustee Holloway? Yes. Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Werdeval?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous.
Motion carried, thank you. Before we go to information items, I hope that you all did see a email come through from Treasurer Belk requesting some documentation. She did meet with Mr. Ingram, and we'll have some information to report out to you once she gets that data. I did speak with her to ask her if there was anything that she wanted me to report out on this evening, but she would like to receive that information because that was the area that kind of stood out to her from a financial point of view. So I just wanted to make sure that we understood that CND will be forthcoming. Okay. Report 6295, proposal of new secondary 10th grade NAF Academy of Information Technology course offerings.
Thank you, Board President.
Snyder.
Yes, Ms. Snyder will be joining us at the mic this evening. We are excited as we continue to build out our career and technical education offerings. This is one of our newest, and we will now ramp up from what we had last year. Ms. Snyder.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll try to project my voice well. Sorry, every time I come, I feel like I'm apologizing for my voice.
No worries.
So we are looking at beginning a new NAF IT Academy at Southfield High School for Arts and Technology. And that will begin with 10th grade students next school year. So there are 2 classes that I'm proposing that we offer for next year's students. The first one is Principles of Information Technology. And the second, Introduction to Programming. The information The Principles of Information Technology is an overarching class. It'll go over all aspects of IT and will also focus on some career areas. So really helping our students at the 10th grade level start to hone into, yes, I'm excited about IT, but what areas of information technology am I most excited about? And then from there, students would take introduction to programming, which will be using Python as a language. And I feel like that's a language that's being used a lot more these days. I've worked with Lawrence Tech University, so as students move on into their junior year and their senior year, we would be able to offer 3 different areas in the NAF Academy. We'll have AP Computer Science for students who just want to continue on with programming. We'll have a Lawrence Tech certificate program for cybersecurity, and also another certificate program for game design, but they are revamping classes for us so that they will be taught with Python. They currently use C++.
And that's
but
outdated. Yes, it is.
That is my opinion as well. So I've met with both deans, the previous dean and the new dean in that department at Lawrence Tech, and they've agreed to create those classes for us. Looking at a program where our 10th graders will begin with these 2 NAF classes. In 11th grade, they will actually have Lawrence Tech teachers come to A&T and teach our students at A&T. And then their senior year, Lawrence Tech is willing to pay for transportation to transport our students to Lawrence Tech's campus. So we're helping our kids transition to Lawrence Tech and have that college experience, which is, you know, as we're trying to make sure all of our students are ready to move forward with post-secondary options, this is a great way to do it. Just baby stepping in and building a college transcript while they do it.
So a couple of things, because, and I was going to say this even before Dr. Green kind of nudged me. I know we are doing our master scheduling, trustees, and in order to add this to the schedule, we need to jump on it now.
Yes.
So I would like to ask that if there is a motion on the floor to make this actionable and open and approve it. Is there a motion on the floor?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. A couple of things I'd like to say. Thank you for taking this initiative. I think it's extremely important. I work with data analytics often, so I'm very familiar with Python. I think it's amazing that we're taking C++ out of the scope. Yeah, thank you. One thing I would like to ask is that at our spring open house and our back to school fair, that we push this, because the parents will be the one that will receive the information and get excited about it before the kids will. But if we could tie it into the fact that some of these introductory classes are things that can get them started for whether they're going to be going into a college of engineering, right? That's a different pathway. Cybersecurity requires a college of engineering, right? But data analytics and informatics do not. So I like that you're talking about career paths, and I appreciate it. I heard the wish of the board to open and approve this. Is there any other discussion surrounding it?
I had a question as it relates to entry level. I heard you say certificate program, so does that mean it will allow for some entry level employment as well?
So students will actually receive a certificate if they're successful in the classes all the way through the academy, through Lawrence Tech University. So they'll actually receive a Lawrence Tech University certificate.
And that
for
will
those
also
programs.
give them credits?
Yes. So their junior and senior years, they'll be receiving
So
college
they'll
credits.
receive dual.
And I am working with Lawrence Tech right now to try to get those 2 NAF classes that we're going to offer for 10th graders to be articulated as well. So they would actually start earning college credit without actually developing the college transcript beginning their sophomore year. Because for some students, they're ready. For some students, we need to help them, give them the support to be successful in that environment. So I feel like this program will help guide students to where we want to get them at the end. So, and just as a footnote, this will be 14, 15, and 16 as far as pathway academies that we offer at A&T. So we will have 16 different career pathway academies starting next year.
Say that louder. that louder.
So thank you, and I do have one more request of this team. I would love for us to have listed what our pathway, okay, you know, people are looking for just they just want the meat, right? And so if we have them listed 1 through 16, I'm sure the parents will pick up on that real quick and say, yes, this is what I'm looking for. We tend to hide things, and you have to peel back the onion to find it out, and sometimes it's too late.
Yeah.
So thank you for pointing out the fact that this is the 16th, well, 14th, 15th, and 16th pathway program. I appreciate that. Trustees, is there any other discussion surrounding this? Hearing none. Board Secretary, will you please call for the vote?
Trustee Werdevon? Yes. Myself, yes. Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Holloway?
Yes.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Snyder.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Report 6296, number 13, Adler Playground, pre-purchase equipment using bond funds. I'm assuming we're gonna hear from Dan, you beat me to it, Dan and TJ coming to the stage. Good evening. Good evening.
So as you are aware, our bid pack 13 would consist of pre-purchasing playground equipment for Adler Elementary. And I've heard every single one talk about how great Adler's looking. And Dr. Green made a point of stating that we should make sure that they have playground equipment when the children come back. So that's the initial plan. So this is what our proposal would be, to pre-purchase that equipment and have it ready for the summer, and then follow up with installation in time for when the B&B occupants return to their home.
And Board President, if I may add, he mentioned, but I did want to reiterate that this is just for the equipment. There will be
Understood.
another proposal coming before you for the
Right, to the
installation.
install,
So
yes.
we did the equipment purchase separate to ensure that we could have it delivered in a reasonable time. And we're really, really excited. You heard families come up in the past and mention how our equipment was outdated and in some cases not safe. So we are looking to make sure that when our scholars return back to Adler, that they have the absolute best.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to know, what does the equipment consist of?
There will be two playscapes, two different
Oh,
playscapes.
two
There will be a
playscapes.
swing set area.
It's 4 different sections.
Well, the two larger sections. are
Oh, okay,
considered
I'm
playscapes.
excited, like, don't.
The other sites are considered accessories, where there will be like a, what is it called, a ladder climbing?
Yeah.
Playscape area, a slide, like a swing
Monkey,
slide.
monkey?
Well, there's a
Not quite
new,
monkey
there's a
bars.
new, we'll get a photo to you, but
Yeah.
there is a
Right.
new device where you jump on one side and it's almost like a zip line.
It is.
It's like a zip line.
It's built that
So we'll
way.
have that,
Correct.
we will have the swings,
And
we
then it's
have,
not a merry-go-round, but it's a spinner where six children.
it's really nice.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
really nice. So we'll have the photo for
That'd
you
be
to
great.
review.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I would like to say thank you for using a WBE company for this. Always glad to support our veteran-owned, women-owned, and minority-owned businesses. And I see that the cost was much more reasonable as well, so appreciate that. Trustees, is there any other discussion surrounding this? I would like to ask if we can open and approve Report 6296 to get this approved this evening. Is
So
there-
moved.
Thank you.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported twice. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Board Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Trustee Holloway?
Yes.
Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Werdevon? Yes. Unanimous.
Motion carried. Thank you
Thank
both.
you, team.
Okay.
Financial report, monthly bill disbursement, our board treasurer will get the information that she has requested, and we will discuss this at our study session. So for the record, I would like that put on the agenda, her information, so we can discuss it.
Okay.
Okay?
For the record, BP, can we also add that the trustees are in possession of the financial report and the bill
Yes.
disbursement as required?
For the record, we
Okay.
are in possession of that report and the monthly bill disbursement.
Thank you.
For the good of the order, trustee?
Yes. I have, there was an email I sent, not today, but a couple weeks ago about, something related to teacher retention support.
27K?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we
Yes.
on track with that?
We are.
Are you
know,
able to share?
I apologize because Talisha sent the same thing, I believe, but.
Yes, very similar.
And
So-
yep.
Yes, so we are participating in 27K. The information required by the grant was scheduled to be delivered to HR last week. There were several individuals that were denied due to insufficient documentation. However, given that this was the first opportunity, we did send it back to them and ask that they give us the additional documentation. That information is due to HR by Friday of this week. So we are in the process of getting that done. 9 were approved for submission of full documentation.
Oh, perfect, perfect. And then, also, so something that came up during the most recent conference was, the different supports provided in the forms of like professional development and trainings for teachers with, who have students with special needs or unique learners in their classroom. How are we supporting teachers? Particularly, I'm thinking of ASD. I know there's a full array of the different unique learnings that may show up in the class. But as we move towards more structures and systems that have our students in gen ed classes, my concern particularly, and my question, I guess, is, are we specializing and even mandating to a degree some PD, so say around ASD, so that teachers so that they become knowledgeable? Something that came up in one of the sessions I attended was how sometimes, of course, not our wonderful teachers here in Southfield Public Schools, but some teachers will kind of isolate their student list based on, these are my gen ed, these are my special ed, versus looking at all of the scholars on a spectrum of, I'm going to meet each of them at the point of their needs because they're all unique learners. But the other side of that also is understanding that teachers should be equipped to understand those unique learners and some specialties that may come along with that. So when we do offer the PDs, are there any specialty or special PDs that all the teachers are mandated so that no matter who's on their roster, they're able to at least understand the IEP, understand what the requirements are, and build their lesson plans and approaches around that?
So 3 things come to mind. One, we do develop a very robust professional development learning opportunities throughout the year. Mandated, we can require, however, individuals have the option of attending on that day. We have some people that call off. We also have the multi-tier systems of support that is mandatory district-wide, and best practices are best practices for all scholars. So that is something that is mandatory in the district as well. Then we have the data specialists, and working with our teachers to understand the data sets across the board would be extremely important in making sure that every scholar is getting exactly what they need. And then we will continue to provide support for our staff because it is a different age and a different way in which we have to engage. As board president often reminds me, we have to think about tomorrow and how we educate for the future and not just what we have done in the past, because we can't rely on what has worked in the past. We have to start thinking about this differently. So we will continue to provide those opportunities.
Okay. So when it, no, I'll put a pin in it and save it. Can we, Board President, put this as a topic for a study session? Yes, because I'd like to kind of dig a little bit deeper, just so we can further understand what needs, even if it needs to come from a policy standpoint. Because my concern is as we start to see more students, integrated into the gen ed setting, that teachers are equipped with how to meet them.
And we still have a summer offering for our staff as well that we're building out, a 2-week robust programming for professional learning opportunities as well. So I will also get that information and send it to you also, that you know exactly what we're offering our staff for professional development.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just a reminder to everyone, you received in your email, as far as the community and parents, registration for summer school has gone out. Please make sure that if you're interested, there are a few things. Ms. Caldwell Carruthers actually gives you a how-to, where to find it. Ms. Gwen is listed as a contact if you have any questions, concerns, issues. And then there is, of course, MyStar, where you can go ahead and register for that. So I didn't want that to be forgotten, as the deadline is April 15th. Is that correct? Yep. So please try to register your children if you're interested by April 15th. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none. Future meetings, Tuesday, April 23rd, special board meeting study session. Tuesday, May 14th, regular board meeting. The meeting is adjourned at 9:40 p.m. Thank you, everyone.